my name is Beck and welcome to part 3 of my Owls Readathon vlog. This is a reading vlog based around the theme of owls, which is from Harry Potter. So I am reading each book for each prompt, and I'll leave all of the Readathon stuff linked down below because it was created by another booktuber. So whenever I read a book for a prompt, it's like finishing an exam. So at the moment I've finished about 3 books and I'm currently reading 1, and I also have read an audiobook that doesn't count towards the readathon, but I finished it this month, so I thought I'd include it in the vlog anyway. If you've watched my vlogs up until now, you'll know that that is Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray, and I finished that last night actually, but I'd finished filming last week's vlog before I actually finished that audiobook because I've been playing Animal Crossing on the Switch and listening to audiobooks while I play, so I finished that last night and I really enjoyed it. It's a book that's set in the 1920s and it follows a bunch of different characters, and in the background of all of their character plots going on, there is an underlying plot of the sleeping sickness. So people are going into dreams and promising that they're going to dream with this person who appears in them, and then they never wake up again. So this sleeping sickness is happening in the background of all of our characters' stories, and then at the end of the book it really culminates into what are they going to do about this sleeping sickness. So I ended up calling the plot twist, unfortunately, which is why I can't give it a 5 stars, but I gave it a 4 because for starters I loved all of the different characters in there. Whenever it was focusing on one particular character, I wasn't trying to skip through their chapter, or I wasn't bored of that character's perspective, because each of them are very, very well grounded to me and they've got a lot of depth, which I liked, and they all interact with each other too. So if we're following one character, we're probably guaranteed to see another anyway. So I like the characters, I like the plot, the pacing wasn't too slow or too fast, and I do plan on continuing with the series. And it is 11 o'clock in the morning and I haven't done any reading thus far today, but I was talking to a friend and she has the 3rd audiobook, so instead of waiting 2 weeks for my library to have it available, I can just start listening to it whenever I want to, which is super exciting because I really want to continue with the series. So that is something that I'm probably going to start reading this week as well. But as for my actual Owls TBR, I am still currently reading Sword of Destiny by Andrzej Sapkowski, and I am 131 pages into this. It is broken up by short stories because it's a short story compendium, so I'm trying to read each short story in between finishing another book on my reading pile. And if you're familiar with Owls, this is the last book that I have to read for my wizarding career. So the wizarding career helps you narrow down prompts and kind of focus on a goal for what you want to finish for the readathon. So this is my last book for the prompt of Mage of Visual Arts, which is the career I've chosen. I only need to read 4 books for that, so I did that because it seemed easier than reading a book for every single prompt, but I've picked a book for every prompt that I have anyway because why not try and challenge myself, right? So the rest of my TBR are behind me, except for the 2 books on the top, Malice and Mooncalled. Those are for a particular prompt that had books starting with the letter M, so I've already got Maya and the Rising Dark for that prompt, but I thought I'd include Malice and Mooncalled anyway because obviously they both start with M as well, and I feel like reading them if they're on my TBR, so I thought I'd include them, but they're not necessarily counted towards my owls. They're just kind of there if I want to reach for them if I'm in the mood. And so in my last vlog, I mentioned that I've already started Maya and the Rising Dark, and I also mentioned that I'd started Scorched Dragons by Amy Kaufman, and I mentioned that I was at 30 pages into both of these, which was an absolute lie. I thought I was only 30 pages into each one, but it turns out I'm 50 pages into this one and then 70 pages into this one, so I've made more progress than I thought, which is good. So these are probably the 2 that I'm going to continue with for this vlog because I finished everything that I was talking about in my previous vlog, which is nice. And then after these, I don't really know on my TBR what I want to pick up next, so I'm going to read these intermittently with Sword of Destiny and see how I go with that, because Sword of Destiny I have 50 pages to read and then that's another short story finished. So these are both middle grade with a shorter page count and bigger writing, so I should be able to get through these in a decent manner. And because this is short stories, I can get through it intermittently in bite-sized chunks. I mentioned in my last vlog that I'm not loving this. It's going to be like a 3 out of 5 stars so far, but hopefully the last short stories in here kind of pick it up and I end up enjoying it more. Of course there's a garbage truck outside. I'm just gonna go close the window. So those are my reading plans for now, but because it is now after Easter and I'm kind of trying not to, you know, chill out and have a break anymore, I'm doing a course online, so I need to do a little bit more of that. I was aiming to finish it by the end of April, but it actually ends at the end of May, so I've got a bit of a buffer time in case I don't finish it by the end of this month. And then in my first vlog for the owls, I think I mentioned that I had some admin stuff to get done because I am a casual worker and because of the virus I don't have a job anymore. So all of that went through and I'm waiting to hear back. I think I've got until the 22nd of April to hear back, but that's a tentative date. So things are in progress behind the scenes and I'm doing a little bit better better now that all of that has been mostly taken care of, because it was stressing me out a lot in the earlier days of this month. But I'm doing alright. I hope you guys are doing alright as well. Let's get into this reading vlog, and I hope that I finish these in this vlog. We'll see how we go. Hello, it's Friday now, and I've taken the past couple of days off filming, and I haven't really done much reading either. So today I thought I would try and finish 2 books because I need to kind of catch up on what I haven't been reading. So I'm still reading Scorched Dragons. I got this on my phone from the library, so I've been reading the ebook a little bit because I thought maybe if it was on my phone I would be more inclined to pick it up. That's kind of happened, but not really, and I just need to motivate myself to actually sit down and start reading, because once I am reading it's fine. But when I'm not, I'm kind of in this weird state of mind where I don't know what I want to be doing. So I'm gonna try and finish Scorched Dragons today. I'm like 80 or so pages into this, and then Maya and the Rising Dark as well. I want to finish this. So I want to finish both of the middle grade books on my reading pile, because I put these on my reading pile in March, and then March was a really slow reading month for me, so I only read 2-ish books, maybe 2.5 books. So the goal is to finish these now, because if I put them on hold for much longer, it's just a bit disgraceful, to be honest. And then I also have Sword of Destiny. So if I finish these 2, which is pretty ambitious in itself, I have 50 pages of this to read for the next short story to finish. So I've got the entire day to read. Surely I can finish something today. Also, I have been listening to an audiobook, Before the Devil Breaks You. I'm just under 20% through that, so I've barely started that audiobook, but I wrote in my notes what it's about without spoilers, so I can actually give some kind of brief synopsis. So it's about the characters that we already know, Project Buffalo, which we've heard about before, and then it also has a heightening presence of the King of Crows and ghost encounters in the book. So we're getting more clairvoyant stuff happening now, and the diviners are a little bit more, not exposed, but a little bit more centered in the story than they were at the beginning, because at the beginning we only had Evie, and now we've got Evie and a couple of other characters as well that are diviners. So it's nice to see all of that interaction, and it's nice to see more of what's been set up in the previous 2 books come to more of a head in the 3rd one. And I've heard that the 4th book in the series is not as amazing, so I'm trying to keep my expectations low for the 4th book, but so far I'm really enjoying Before the Devil Breaks You. I just finished Scorched Dragons. I'm not sure what to rate it, but to be fair, this is a very fresh rating because I've only just finished the book and had no time to think about it. I'm thinking like a 3.5 stars for most of the book, but then the ending is like a 4 stars because I really like the feeling that it left me with. This is book 2, so obviously I don't want to tell spoilers, but the general premise of the first book, Ice Wolves, is that there are 2 twins, Raina and Anders, and they are orphans. They're living on the streets and they're fending for themselves, and they've only got each other to look out for. When one day in their town there is the regular reaping of students to join the academy, the local academy, and only shapeshifters can join this academy. And Raina ends up shapeshifting into a dragon, and Anders ends up shapeshifting into a wolf. And there's a long feud between the Ice Wolves and the Scorched Dragons, and none of them have ever been related by blood before. So that's where this story leads off in the first book. Anders is trying to track down his sister because they are separated after this kind of ceremony unveiling thing at the start of the book. And this follows a bunch of newly introduced characters and a bunch of friends that Anders has made along the way. And I don't want to say any more than that because it will be spoilery. But I like the friendship in this. I like the quest kind of nature and the treasure hunting nature of this book, and I'm looking forward to continuing. I wasn't really sure about continuing when I was like halfway through this or the beginning of this, but it ended up surprising me. I like the bonds that everyone had formed across the book, and especially at the end, and I like that this is about bridging differences. So that's really my review of this book without any spoilers in it, and I'm really happy that I finished it. It's like 12:30 now, so I'm probably gonna have a break for lunch, maybe play some Animal Crossing, and then I'm gonna work on Maya and the Rising Dark. Hello, it's now Sunday, and I was supposed to be reading Maya and the Rising Dark yesterday, but I did not. So I now have 200 pages left of this book, and I'm hoping to smash that out today. So let's hope that I can do that. I'm like a third into it, so I read about 100 pages. I read a little bit yesterday, but not much. Let's be real. And I've also been listening to Before the Devil Breaks You. I'm really enjoying that, and I realized when I was looking at footage from the start of this vlog that I was talking about the second book in the series that I could probably include it on my Owls TBR actually. So I'm gonna do a bit of a sneaky and shift some books around. So I'm not sure what actual subject this is for, but I do remember the prompt, and the book is Wicked As You Wish, and the prompt was you had to read a book with something that had a beak on the cover, and this has a creature on the very, very top in the sea, which is a bird. and I realised that because the King of Crows is the big bad guy in the Diviners series overall, that there's probably something crow-like on one of the book covers. So I noticed that there were birds on the book cover for the second book, and I'm probably going to switch that into this readathon instead of this book. I'm still going to read this eventually because it's on my reading pile in general, but I'm going to include Lair of Dreams for that prompt, so I've technically finished that subject for my owls, which is a cheat, but I don't care because it means that I've got a step closer to reading a book for another subject. Hello, it is now later and I have finished Maya and the Rising Dark. I didn't think I would finish this today, but I'm really glad that I did. I didn't think I'd finish it because I was kind of dragging my feet, and I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. In the end, it felt like it was not trying too hard, because I feel like saying that is mean, but the way the plot was didn't leave room for characters to grow, because as soon as they got out of one dire situation, they were into another one. It takes a little bit of a break between those things in order to develop character, at least in my opinion, and that's what I felt that this was lacking. I did like the world building though, and I liked the creatures in here. I liked Maya as a character, but I feel again like she wasn't developed very much, and she really relied on the dialogue between her two best friends in order to, I don't know, even emerge. And her two friends had very individual, specific things that they were interested in, which seemed to make up their entire personality traits. One was just the funny guy who liked ghosts, and then the other one was the science nerd. And I feel like that's not enough if you want to develop your characters as something other than just a caricature of something. So I think that might get developed later on, because again, it's a middle grade, there's a lot to pack into just this one book, and it was under 300 pages long, so again, it's not very long either. It doesn't have a lot of room to grow in itself. But I like the premise, which is a shame because I wanted to give this at least a 4 stars. I do often struggle to give middle grade more than a 4 stars, although with Readathon's books, he has a capacity to tap into my emotional responses as well as just my enjoyment level, and that's why I tend to give most of his books 5 stars. But when it came to Maya, that's kind of what it was lacking, so that's why it only gets a 3, unfortunately. However, that means I have finished, I can't remember what this prompt is. I think it's Herbology, don't quote me on that, but it's the book that starts with the letter M on your reading pile. So I finished another subject for my owls, which I'm pleased about. So now that we're into the third vlog, I should probably give a wrap up of what I've read overall for my owls and what I have left. So this is what I have finished from my owls so far, which is quite a lot actually, and then I also have 3 other books that I want to complete. I have finished these, and then I did a little bit of a sneaky earlier, so I included Lair of Dreams on my TBR that I've finished. So that counts towards my owls as well. So of the prompts that I had books for that are left, I only have 3 to finish now, which is excellent. So I switched out Wicked As You Wish, which is not on my owls TBR anymore, but it's on my TBR in general, so I'm just gonna put that to the side. And then I do have All the Rage by Courtney Summers. Probably gonna start this first out of the other books I've got left because this is a darker book and it's the longest. So if I can get to this one and then finish it, I'll feel more accomplished finishing the others. Then I've got Attack on Titan Volume 8, which is again another dark book. It's more dystopian, and the people who are left on the earth essentially are secluded within different walls of this city, and outside of this city there are titans, which is why it's called Attack on Titans. The humans are trying to fight back against these titans, and the titans don't really have any obvious way to reproduce, so no one knows how they keep getting more of them, and the titans just tend to eat people, but they don't need to eat people as sustenance to live. They just do it because people are there. So the titans are kind of their own mystery. There's an elite group of individuals that fight against the titans, but this obviously comes with a lot of trauma because a lot of people actually get eaten. So it's a pretty dark book. We follow Eren, and he's got some secret in his past that he either can't remember or he just doesn't want to talk about. I don't remember. I haven't read this in a very long while, so I might have to read a recap or something before I pick up volume 8 because I don't remember where each of our characters are. So this is another dark one alongside All the Rage, but good thing I do have a lighter read in my lap, so that's probably what I'm going to read after All the Rage. And that lighter read is Only Mostly Devastated, and this is a retelling of Grease, but it is a queer retelling, so I think it's a male-male romance, and it's a retelling of the musical, so I'm looking forward to reading this because I've heard it's really cute and fluffy, and that's why I added it to this list, because I thought it would be pretty quick to get through. I mean, the writing I've just looked at is pretty small, but I imagine the pace is going to be pretty quick, and it's going to be the kind of book that I don't put down. At least I'm hoping so. We'll see. I also lied, I have 4 books on my list because Sword of Destiny is on this list as well, and it's all the way over there, and I don't want to go over and pick it up, but you get the gist. It is on my TBR too. I'm a third of the way into it. I didn't read the 50 pages I said that I would, but I'm dragging my feet again because it's seeming like a 3 out of 5 star book, and I am not really motivated to pick it up at the moment, but I'm gonna make myself pick it up in my next vlog, so I hopefully will finish that as well, because that is the last book I need to finish for my career. So if I don't finish that, then I don't get my OWLS career, even though I've read all of the other OWLS books I had set aside. So it'd be a bit silly if I didn't finish it, honestly. And then lastly, I am reading Before the Devil Breaks You on audiobook, and I am 50% through it. I want to say I'm halfway because I'm more than 40%. I've listened to more since I checked that update. So that is an update on all of my reading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you're participating as well. I will chat to you in the comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.